Do you want to be able to play like Slash and not just memorize tabs, but actually know what notes you're playing over the chords as they go by, using the CAGED system for a framework? That's what this video is about. Hey, it's Nate Savage from GuitarFam.com, and welcome to this video. We're going to take a look at the first solo from November Rain, but we're going to go way beyond just teaching you the notes. I'm going to give you a fishing pole and help you learn how to fish for yourself as far as lead guitar goes and playing over chord changes using the CAGED system. And if you need help getting into the CAGED system, I would encourage you to go sign up for the CAGED Jumpstart. It's a free mini course that I put together for you that helps you get into the first steps of learning the CAGED system and how to apply it even to solos. All right, let's get into it. To start with, it's important to know that I am down tuned to E flat, so all my strings are down tuned a half a step, but I'm going to be talking about this as if it is in the key of C major. Now I have two different tabs available for you. One's the down tuned version and one's the regular version. That way you can play it regardless if you're down tuned or not. The important thing is to know what key you're in, pretend like we're in the key of C major for this, and more importantly, what chord progression you're playing over. So there are two main chord progressions going on here, so let's just take them one at a time. The first one is just an F, so the 4 chord, C, D, E, F, and then D minor, the 2 chord, and then C. So you have a measure of F, 1, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you repeat that and we'll get to the next chord progression when we get there. So as I walk you through this, you could think about this as just using mostly a C major pentatonic scale, but that leaves you kind of guessing and not knowing where the notes are coming from or which notes to target a lot. And that's why I like to think about the CAGED chord shapes as the chords go by, because I can see the shapes, and instead of just memorizing numbers, cut and paste, paint by number, then I can actually see and target the notes that are important to play over those chords. So we start out on an F. First F I'm going to think about as we're playing over it is this F that's a C shape. Okay? So I'm really thinking about that. That's an F note right there in the kind of C shape that surrounds it, or you can think D if you want. And the opening lick here is. Okay, so bend the 8th fret up a whole step. I like to use all 3 fingers here of the B string, right? Leave it bent up, hit it again, let it back down, bend it back up. Pinky's hanging out here. You can grab the 8th fret of the high E string. Leave this bent up while you're doing that. The 3rd finger, hit it again, and let it back down. So. So as I'm playing this lick, I'm thinking of this F shape. When I see this F shape, this note right here is my root note, an F of out of that shape, right? So I'm thinking 1, 2, and bending up to 3. And then this one is outside of the chord, but it's still part of the triad. So F, A, C, it's the 5th that I can see out of this chord, right? Now, alternatively, I could be thinking just C major pentatonic pinky note starting right on the low 6th string. So I'd say for this one, choose to think about it the way that makes the most sense to you, but it is nice to see because of what happens the next time you restate the same lick coming up when the progression starts over. Anyway, that's the first lick. Okay, over that D minor chord in the next measure, I'm just thinking this D minor shape. A minor shape, D minor. I could see that, and I play the same lick, but the context changes over. It's almost the same lick, but the context changes over. Okay, a little bit different on the bends. You bend it up a whole step, let it down, bend it back up. And then hit it again while it's bent up, let it down, and then play it again. Bend it up a whole step up, pinky, 8th fret of the high E string. Leave it bent up while you're doing that. Come back to the B string, hit it, let it back down. So far this lick, so I might not be playing any notes out of that chord directly out of that lick, but I am playing the notes out of a D minor 7. Okay, so that's what I see. Alternatively, again, this is one of the parts of the solo where it's totally fine to think about C major pentatonic, or if you want to think about it as an A minor pentatonic 2. So that second lick, and this is where things change quite a bit. I drop back to the 5th fret of the B string here in preparation. I'm kind of telegraphing the next chord change. I'm moving to a C major chord, but the lick to finish off that lick over the D minor is just the 5th fret of the B string. And that's in that C major pentatonic scale shape too. And I just hit it, bend it up a half step and let it back down and let that carry over to the next measure. And as it carries over to the next measure, I'm thinking about this C chord that's a G shape. So this G shape, I can see the notes right out of it. I'm targeting the 3rd of the chord, which is an E on the 5th fret of the B string. So if I go on that downbeat of the next measure, I can see that E right in that C chord shape. And then also, the next note is the 8th fret of the high E string. And that is also in the shape. That's a C note right up there. If I can see all the important notes out of that C chord shape. That's a G shape. From there, I go back to the 5th fret of that B string. And it's kind of the same thing. I'm just sitting here laying on that 3rd of the chord. I bend it up a half step, let it back down, bend it up, let it back down again. What I'm doing is I'm going from the 3rd of the chord to the 4, which is the sus4. So I'm really making a sus4 chord out of this. And from here we get into what I consider a mini major pentatonic shape. This one, if you're familiar with that one, it's just a C major pentatonic scale. And the lick is 7-5 with a pull off on the G string. 1st and 3rd fingers there. Back to 7, slide up to 9, now over to 8 on the B string, my 2nd finger, back to 9 on the G string, slide down to 7, and then back to 5. So the lick, and at end I resolve on the 1 or the C note that I'm thinking about out of this G major chord shape that's a C. My root notes are on the high E strings and they're on the G string that I ended on that C. Okay, so let me play that whole first 4 measures for you so you have some context with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hopefully you see, when you're playing like this, you see get mile markers or kind of posts that you can look ahead and see, okay, I'm changing chords to an F or I'm changing chords to a C. I know what notes to target, instead of just playing through a pentatonic scale and memorizing fret numbers. Okay, these next 2 measures are almost a restatement of the first 2 measures. There's one key difference that really drives home the importance of thinking about this F chord that's a C shape. And I'll play it for you. It starts off the same way, but you pull off to the 6th fret of the B string. And that note is an F note, and it's the really important one to see out of the C shape. This is a root note here with my pinky on the A string. This is a root note with my middle finger there on the B string. And when I think about that, I'm super thinking about numbers as it relates to the F chord as this chord is going by. So I'm bending the 2 up to the 3, let it down, bend it up again, 8th fret of the high E string just like last time, leave this bent up, hit it again. This time when you let it down, pull off to the 6th, that root note of the F. So And that note is not in the C major pentatonic scale. So this is a really important kind of concept to get around of thinking about, especially over the 4 chords, because the 4 is not in the C major pentatonic scale or the A minor pentatonic scale, right? So you have to kind of throw that in there sometimes, and the best way to do that is with an arpeggio or a triad that you can see on the guitar deck, or a cage shape, right? Okay, next measure is a D minor chord again. It's almost the exact same lick, it just ends a little bit differently. So if we have, instead of bending back here to the 5th fret of the B string, we just bend that 8th fret up that we just hit. So bend, release, bend back up, keep it up, hit it, let it back down, up again, then over to the 8th fret of the high E string, and then hit it again, whole step bend, and that's over the D minor this time, slightly different. Okay, still thinking about this D minor as I play this. You could even think about just a straight up D minor pentatonic scale with a root note on the 5th string there. So from there I have to make a shift to the 10th fret of the high E string to play over the C chord that's coming up, and I'm going to be thinking about this C major chord, the E major shape. If I go to the 10th fret, I have to use my 3rd finger, my pinky, doesn't really matter. Bend it up a whole step. And what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing 1, 2, and I'm thinking of bending up to the 3. And letting it back down. And then I see my C here, my root note there on the high E string, my index finger. Play that, then back to the 2, 10th fret, pull off to the 1, that C note, then over to the 10th fret of the B string, back to the high E string 8th fret, and from there I have a slide up to the 13th fret of the B string, and that's kind of a transitional note. So I'm thinking all the way up to the 13th fret, and the note I'm targeting there is a C note, and the shape that is on that has that root note is a D shape. So I'm thinking about this D shape, and I can see that root note right there, that C note that I'm bringing out or pulling out of that. So and from there, I have this little lick, 13, pull off to 12 of the high E string with my 2nd and 1st fingers, and then 13 of the B string. You do that twice. And all I'm doing there, I'm still seeing this D shape for my C chord, but I'm thinking sus4 to a 3 to a 1, sus4, 3 to a 1. And then back to the 13th fret, whole step bend and let it back down. And the next measure is where the progression changes a little bit, but that next note, that 13, is the next note in the next measure over a D minor. We'll get to that in a second. Let me just play that whole phrase, that second phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So once I hit that note, 13th fret of the high E string, I'm playing over a D minor chord. And if you see this D minor shape right here, I'm playing the 3rd of that chord, that F note. So I'm targeting a note out of that D minor chord. This happens to be the 3rd, the 13th fret of the high E string, that F. And from there, I make a shift to thinking about this D minor, E minor shaped D minor, right? That's the next 3 notes. So I see this D on the high E string. That's kind of my new bass point, or bass camper starting point. And I go 10, 12, 13, back to 12, hammer on to 13, pull off to 12, pull off to 10. Okay? So you can be thinking about this. I'm really thinking just D minor, as if it were like a D Dorian scale or something like that, or just a straight D minor, because those are the only notes being played out of there. The thing about it is that 10th fret, when I land on that, the chord changes to a G major. So I can see this G major right here, A shape, and all that is the fifth of the G chord. So I can think about it as targeting that note. So starting on that D minor again, on the 13th fret, and then from there, you have this lick over the G. And we'll break that down. If you start on the 10th fret, hit the 10th fret again, 10, 12, 13, bend 13 up a full step and let it back down, hit it again, pull off to 12. So, and from there, you're switching to a C major chord again. So I'm thinking of this D shape for my C major. And the first note over that chord is the 12th fret of the high E string. I just bend that up a half step. Let it back down and hit it. Put some vibrato on there. So basically doing the same thing. C sus4. So sus4 to a 3. From there I have a big shift to where I'm not really necessarily thinking about chords or pentatonic scales or anything like that. It's all the way up to the 19th fret of the high E string. And I'm still playing over a C chord. And if you want to think about a chord shape, you can think about it. It's a little bit uneconomical to play it up here, but a G shape all the way up here. So bend that 19th fret up one half step, maybe some vibrato, let it down. You can hit it 3 times. After the 3rd time, you slide back to the 17th fret. From here, the pattern or the sequence is hit the 17th fret twice, slide back to the 15, hit the 15 twice, slide back to the 13, hit the 13 twice, slide back to the 12, hit the 12 twice. And then you're gonna hammer on to 13, pull off to 12, pull off to 10. So that's a little bit tricky. So you basically goes 3, 2, 2, 2, 2 for the rest of them. So that's all over a C major chord. So really I'm just thinking the C major scales. I play that. After that, we switch to a D minor again. And the note you're gonna target for that is the 13th fret of the high E string. And all that is the same note we targeted up here if we're using this D minor shape. The high E string is the 3rd of the chord. That's a half note. You hold that out and put some vibrato on it. 2. And here's probably the hardest lick of the whole song. I'll play it for you and then we'll break it apart. And the first half is over a D minor. Second half is over a G major. I really don't think about that too much. I just think the pattern throughout C major scale. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can read that in the tab, but I'll go through and the note by note for you and explain it too. So 13, 2 on beat 3, 12, 13, and then you're gonna play 12, hammer on to 13, pull off to 12, pull off to 10. And then you go to 13 of the B string, back to 12 of the high E, back to 13 of the B string. So I would just chunk it up into that first little one. Okay, and then we'll switch to a G chord. And if I were to force myself to think about a chord shape here over this G, it would be this A shape for my G major. But the lick starts off with just 10, 12, 10. With the hammer on and pull off. So 10, hammer to 12, pull off to 10. It's kind of trilly filling. 13 of the B string, 10 of the high E string, and then you have 12 of the B string, hammer on to 13, and I use my 3rd and 4th fingers there. Then back to 12, pick it, hammer on to 13, pull off to 12, pull off to 10. So I would let that be kind of the second little chunk of this lick that I would work on. From there, you roll over to the 12th fret of the G string with your 3rd finger, roll it over to the B string, same 12th fret, roll it back to the 12th fret of the G, then the 10th fret of the B. Index finger, roll that over to the G string, hammer on to the 12th fret, pull off to the 10th fret, and then you have a slide to finish like what I would consider this over the G, right? So that would be the third little chunk I would work on this. But again, the scale, or the thing that I'm thinking about most here, is just the C major scale. And the chord that's overlaying that is a C major that's a D shape. So let me play that whole lick over the D minor to the G for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as I hit that note on the 9th fret of the G string, what I'm doing is I'm targeting the 3rd of the C chord, because we just switched to the C chord. So I'm really looking at it, and it's the E-shaped C chord. And then from there, I have this little like 12, pull off to 10, pull off to 9. And then from there, I slide up to 13, or just hop up to 13. And as I do that, that's the root note of a C chord out of this D shape. So, or some vibrato sliding up there. After that, you come back and it's almost the same lick. Instead of going, you go start on 10, hammer on to 12, pull off to 10, pull off to 9. So I'm still thinking this E-shaped C chord, right? And then I come up to 13 again, some vibrato. Then I come back, play that same lick again. But instead of going to 13, you're gonna skip all the way up to 15, bend that up a whole step. I'll keep it there. Play 15 of the high E string with your pinky. Play 15 again, that's bent up on the B string. Let it back down, and then I'm gonna land on the 13th fret of the B string. Like as I'm doing this, I'm thinking this C major chord that's a D shape or a C shape. So I can see this is the 1. That's a 2. That's a 5 up there. And that would be the 1 of the C chord, but on that measure, on that beat, what it ends up being is over an F chord. So I see this E-shaped F chord. So instead of being the 1, it ends up being the 5, F, A, C. And that's one of my last notes. Hold that out for a whole note. And then the next measure moves to a G. So I bend that up a whole step, and what I'm effectively doing is going, right, it's really hard to play all the way up here, but I go into a G chord using the E shape, and I'm singing that. So it's the 5th of the F, bent up to the 5th of the G, and I can see that if I know my chord shapes up into the fretboard really well. So let me play that last, from the really complicated measure of the D minor to the G all the way out to the end for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way up whole step. Okay, that's it for this one. If this is your first time thinking about chord shapes and playing over changes like this, I know it can be pretty overwhelming, but it is the way forward. This will help you to stop getting lost on the fretboard or just using, minor pentatonic scales to solo. And if you need help getting started with the CAGED system, I really recommend that you go sign up for the CAGED Jumpstart. It's a free mini course that I put together. It's a PDF and a video that'll help you get started with CAGED, and included as a bonus is the first module to the CAGED Roadmap course. The link is below for you. I'll see you there.